Imagine a world where more women had the time and resources to fully explore their genius. Welcome to She Rebel Radio, a community-driven podcast dedicated to supporting women to unlearn conventional rules and create businesses of significance. This is our International Women's Day series, bringing you insights and advice from noteworthy women entrepreneurs here in the UK who strive to create more meaning, impact and purpose. Our headline partner for this podcast series is Natwest. Natwest have been a pioneer in supporting women in business since the publication of the Rose Review in 2019, which identified the disparity between male and female entrepreneurs when starting a business. Natwest have been implementing key interventions and providing essential wraparound support to realise the unrealised potential of female founders. My name is Lulu Minns. I host retreats and create spaces for entrepreneurial women to explore their genius. And today I'm going to create that same space for you right here on this podcast episode. Welcome to episode 91 of She Rebel Radio, Founding a Green Revolution with Victoria Wood. Victoria Wood is the founder and CEO of Greener Beauty, a one-stop shop for natural, vegan, cruelty-free beauty products, also with a large plastic-free section. Greener Beauty was founded in 2017 and born out of Vic's frustration as a compassionate vegan in finding cruelty-free beauty products. Vic felt as if she was living two lives, working 70-hour weeks in IT contracting for big corporate business, before a breakdown translated into her breakthrough, amalgamating her IT and problem-solving skills to founding the compassionate and kind Greener Beauty. Vic was a 2021 finalist for the Sustainability Entrepreneur of the Year Awards. Get ready, ladies, for the Greener Revolution to meet the She Rebellion. Vic, welcome. How are you doing today?
Hi, Lulu. Wow, what an introduction. Thank you so much. Very well.
Yeah.
How are you?
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I've been really looking forward to having this conversation with you. And you know, I really resonate with part of your story, which is shared on your website, that you felt that you were living two lives, working in your technical role, solving problems for big corporate business. I was a lawyer before doing what I do now. And in fact, they called me a tree hugger for being vegetarian, which I found funny at the time.
I've heard that many times before too.
I know how true it's become, right? I'm like, yes, I love hugging trees.
Me too.
Yeah, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. So, you know, and then as well as being a compassionate vegan, on the other side, you were a trained holistic therapist, volunteering for animal charities, including the BDMLR, which is very well known to me. How exhausting is it for us as women, do you feel, in these male-dominated roles to keep up often these two sides of ourselves?
I mean, the short answer is it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's beyond exhausting. I mean, to try and, you know, live a life that you feel holds value and is staying true to your own ethics and doing the things that you think is right in the world while still going into these big companies and helping them turn over billions of pounds and dollars every year while the fat cats are just getting fatter is a struggle. You know, I want to be really, I'd love to spend all my time saving animals.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely a struggle. And I think it's really difficult as well as women. You know, we leave work, we go home in the evening and we tend to think about the things we've done over the day, things we could have done better, things we need to do tomorrow. So you're on this constant cycle of just going round and round and thinking about it all the time. And never necessarily stopping, which I think as women is really important that we find that time to sit into our feminine energy and just relax, whether it's going to a spa or having a facial or meeting a girlfriend for a coffee or a glass of wine. You know, it's really important that we do find that balance somehow, which is definitely tricky in this male-dominated world.
It is, yeah, and all coming to one of my retreats. That's what we're all about. But yeah, it's I quite often say as well, you know, when women self-sacrifice, we don't self-sacrifice for one thing. It's like 10 things at once because of that, you know, that kind of connection to all things and all people and animals and all of those things, which I think, you know, comes quite naturally to many of us. It can be really difficult to step back from that.
Absolutely. And I think the sacrifice we tend to make as women is ourselves. I think we tend to be putting everyone else and every other, whether it's your job or, you just tend to be putting other people first, which is obviously, it's important. We're caring women, but also, it's like that thing when you're on a plane, you need to give yourself the mask first. We can't fulfill from an empty cup.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned this feminine, space, stepping back. Was that something that you were aware of when you were like really absorbed in the IT corporate?
No, definitely not. I think that's definitely, don't get me wrong, I've always loved a spa day.
Oh, me too.
My goal every year is to have at least 4 a year,
Nice.
which obviously in COVID hasn't always happened. But it's very difficult. And I definitely wasn't as aware back then as I am aware now of how much time and space we need to give ourselves, for sure. And it's, I run my own business. I still find it a struggle. I have to schedule things in and make sure that I do take time out.
Yeah, I know when I first left legal practice, and again, I had no idea of masculine, feminine energy, all of that kind of stuff. When I rediscovered yoga, because I used to practice kind of when I was way younger and I didn't really get it. And I used to put it in my diary first, like my yoga practice, and that no one messes with my yoga practice, because I really started to realize I needed to feel that first.
Yeah. And that's amazing that you put that in your diary. I have to be honest, yoga is one of those things I used to do years ago and have been meaning to get back into ever since, but haven't quite got there. But this is the year. I know it.
Yes, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yes.
Now,
I might follow your lead and put it in my diary.
Yeah, if it's not in your diary, it's not happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And then I created a little mantra around it of no one messes with my yoga schedule. Like that is first and foremost. It's important. So how did your suffering with 70-hour weeks, and again, I resonate with that when I was in legal practice, in your IT role, translate into your breakthrough with greener beauty? I quite often say, I think, and I certainly didn't create the term, but sometimes a breakdown can lead to a breakthrough.
And it definitely did for me. Working in IT is... I once had the doctor, which is totally irrelevant now, but I once had a doctor say it's very depressing being a doctor because people only come to you when they've got a problem. And IT's a bit like that. You've constantly got people coming to you because either there's an issue that you need to fix, or, there's a big project coming up, or, it could be any number of things. But it did feel a bit like that. You're always dealing, especially if something's happened and something's not working as it should, it's a very negative environment to be in.
Yeah.
And I was working for a company and, was working normal hours, but a lot of IT work has to be done out of hours. So, we had upgrades. We do one upgrade a month, which would start at like 4 p.m. in the afternoon and finish at 7 a.m. So you're leaving the office as everyone starts coming in for the next day. You know, and, you'd obviously be on call if anything goes wrong in the middle of the night. 70-hour weeks, I don't think I had a full night's sleep for about 6 months.
I used to be on call. I was in criminal justice in legal practice, and I quite enjoyed the cut and thrust of that in my earlier years. But it then became, felt like I was going to cry every time the phone went off.
Yeah, I can resonate with that completely.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah, and I'm a Taurian, so typically I'm very grounded, but I do have, I'm getting very spiritual now, but my rising moon sign is Pisces. So I'm very water-based. As you can see from my hair, I'm very, very, I'm just water, really. I don't know where the earth sign comes from it, but, I had a breakdown and all I could do was cry. I literally cried for 4 weeks solid.
No, yeah, I'm a Libra, and the when the scales tip, they tip, and then Cancerian is my rising, so that kind of home is really important.
Which is not dissimilar because Cancerian's water as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yes. Yeah. So, I had 4 weeks of feeling very drained, very upset, crying a lot. And then I can't remember what it was I needed, but I needed to get some shampoo and some foundation or some mascara or something. And having the training I've had, being very passionate about natural, clean beauty, I knew all the good brands, and it was just so frustrating to me that I was having to go onto, you know, all these different websites to get all these products I wanted to use. And that was kind of where it came about. Like, there must be an easier way. And if I'm having this problem, I can't be the only one. You know, there's got to be other people who are having the same issue, and there must be a need for it.
Yeah, and then also if you're going on all different websites, it's the time, isn't it? But then you have to pay delivery for so many of them as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And with work, were you signed off work, or did you leave work? Like for me, I threw my toys out the pram and I quit, and then I had no real massive plan B.
Yeah, I was signed off for 3 months. By the end of it, it was done at sort of every 2-week cycle. So I'd have to go and see the doctor every 2 weeks. And then after 3 months, I did a gradual phased return to work, which started off being 2 hours a day. And then sort of, I think I got up to about 5 hours a day with them. And I realised that despite having a breakdown, nothing had changed. And the workload would be the same. And I could already feel, I mean, initially I was part of a team of 5, and we had 3 people leave. And so it left 2 of us. So everything was coming to me, you know, and I could feel on those days where I was getting back up to 5 hours a day that everyone was still coming to me, and there was still no let up, and I was expected to go back on call. And I just for my health, I was like, do you know what? I just can't do this. So I left. I'd already started Greener Beauty sort of a little bit like drafting ideas on paper before I left.
Yeah, and then carry a notebook everywhere with you. That's what I did before I left.
That's exactly what I did too. Still have that notebook with me today because I come up with ideas all the time.
Yeah.
And then, so I left, sort of built the website, and then I went to go and work for another company on a short-term contract, which was fine because the pressure was less. It was no on-call. You know, it was much easier. Obviously, the passion had slightly gone for IT.
Yeah.
But yeah, that obviously enabled me to then grow the business to where it is now.
Amazing. Now, you said the Greener Beauty was born out of frustration also with the beauty industry, which we've heard, and it's now your baby. It
is.
Yeah. Labour of babies, all businesses are painful. You've described some of those, you know, pain points with work and stuff, but what were some of the kind of birthing difficulties with the actual business?
I mean, that's such a good question, isn't it? And I think any business owner would resonate with this. I honestly, in my naivety, having never run a business before, I stupidly thought, oh, well, I'll just make a website and put a few products on and that will be it.
Yeah, and same as my first. People will find it and they'll sign up or buy or whatever.
Just like magic, I'll be like Amazon overnight. I had no idea about SEO, Google shopping, really social media marketing, which I'm definitely not an expert on even now. So there's a lot of different elements that you have to sort of learn on the job and sort of learn quickly to be able to then implement and then grow in those areas. I have found, you know, we're a few years in now, I'm still learning now.
Yeah, you're always having to learn, aren't you, when you run a business? Because all of that marketing, social media, things like that change so quick as well, don't they?
Yeah, definitely.
It's absolutely. So the Rose Review also reports that women often feel that they can lack certain skills and expertise in business, yet you've amalgamated those IT problem solving skills along with your compassion and kindness and impact element. What have you learned about yourself during that process, and what would your advice be to women about how they can gain confidence in what they already know? Because I find that when I coach a lot of women, they already know what they know.
Yeah, definitely. And we're so critical on ourselves, aren't we, as women? Like, if you look at a man starting a job and he only knows 50% of the role, he'll just, 99% of the time, I don't want to, make assumptions about anyone, but, most guys will just talk their way through it.
Yeah.
And, they'll just get away with it. But as women, we'll be like, oh, not sure how to do that. And, maybe be a bit too honest. For me, definitely for me, the IT background has definitely helped because it helps me understand more about how the website works and how, the technical side of things are running, although I do have to be honest, I do have a tech team that I work with. It's, you know, websites was not an area I specialised in, and IT is so specialist in all the different fields. But I think we should give ourselves more credit. I really do. You know, I started this with this dream of it just being massive overnight, which we all do, I'm sure. But we need to give ourselves more credit for how far we've come and what we've learned. What I've done with Greener Beauty is what literally anyone could do. You just need to find an idea you're passionate about and find a way to make it happen. Like, I think anyone could do it. I really do.
Yeah.
You know,
well, and that passion, I think, is really important in terms of, you know, we talk at She Rebel Radio about businesses of significance. It's the passion that drives you through, because I think it is tougher than it looks.
Absolutely.
You know, and you do have to have that personal development journey. But also, you know, a load of people said to me when I left legal practice, oh, you've thrown that career away. And I never really felt like I had thrown it away. I felt like I was building on something that I'd already created, that, you know, it makes more sense the further you get down the road, I feel.
I definitely agree with that. And I definitely believe that every step of your journey is taking you closer to what you're meant to be doing. And I think for me, being in IT was part of the journey to get me here. You know, it's definitely helped me grow the business. It's definitely helped me get it to where it is now. So it's definitely not lost.
No, we can't. I'm a big believer in we can't fail at our real purpose, because we're learning lessons to get us closer to that all the time.
That is beautiful. You could literally print that and put that on a wall. Sell it.
Yeah, it's so because I think, you know, I look back on my journey. I studied sociology and criminology. I never trained to be a lawyer.
Wow.
And, you know, my first sixth form, I did my study was on gender, and then what do I run a podcast about? You know, and I was 17 years old. There's always a thread, I feel, that really runs through, and we have to be open to the lessons, for sure. Now,
100%.
Yeah, the colour green symbolises our natural environment and the need to take care of it. I know that you plant trees for every single order at Greener Beauty.
We do.
Yeah, which is great. And we'd love to hear more about it. Tell us a little bit more about that, how that works first.
Well, I really want to create a business that doesn't have a negative impact on the planet. I've obviously, on a personal level, done lots of work globally to try and save the natural world. And for me, it'd be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Going to try and save the planet and then create a business that has a huge carbon footprint. So the planting of trees, I decided to do to, one, try and negate the carbon footprint of us as a business. So we plant trees for every member of staff each month. But also to negate the carbon footprint of the physical website, because obviously that is running on a server. So we have plant trees for that every month. And then to negate the carbon footprint of the actual physical order arriving at the customer, we do one tree every month for each order as well. And it's something that's my customers love. Absolutely love it. Like, every time I talk about it, we're nearly at 11,000 trees now. And I just love the idea of like a little Greener Beauty forest somewhere out there growing and thriving, and, you know, hopefully negating some of the damage we're doing on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. And that nourishment and regeneration, because that, and as we started this interview talking about the feminine, you know, it's all about regeneration.
Yeah. 100%. And I think the charity we plant trees through is really quite a special charity, because their main goal is obviously planting trees, but they plant them globally wherever they're most needed. So they've obviously planted loads in Haiti as a result of all the hurricanes they've been having over there. They planted loads in parts of Africa, Indonesia, and they employ local people a fair wage. So not only are the trees helping to regenerate the planet, but we're giving people in a local community a fair wage to do an honest job, which is potentially stopping them going down a darker path, which I think is also beautiful.
Yeah, really beautiful, definitely. What would you say to those who, you know, the greener revolution can overwhelm some people, so they take no action at all? How can we work with people compassionately, encouraging them to make even small changes, but not bellowing it at them?
That's another amazing question. I think like you say, it's very easy to get very overwhelmed. I would say small steps can make a huge difference. Mm-hmm. So, we get contacted by customers all the time. I want to go plastic free. I'm not quite sure how to do it. My suggestion is always the same. Replace what you can as you finish it and just do one thing at a time. There's no point throwing stuff out. That's a complete waste.
Yeah.
But if you can just swap one thing out, even that would help. Toothpaste is quite an easy swap now. There are some amazing plastic-free toothpastes that have similar tastes and texture to a traditional squeezy tube. But if you did that, that would obviously save 3-4 tubes of plastic a year.
Yeah. Floss. I've got bamboo floss, which I love.
Yeah. Or you can get floss. I nearly said. You can get floss made from vegetable wax as well now.
Oh, really?
They're coming up. Lots of different brands are coming up with really innovative products.
Yeah, incredible. It's amazing. We had Laura on our last International Women's Day series from Vouch. She makes vegan watches. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, definitely listen to that episode. I think you'll enjoy it. And they make, the leather style was made out of pineapple skin and apple skin. And they're doing incredible work in creating those new products. So I love the innovation with that.
Absolutely. My sister's actually just bought a pineapple coat, which looks like leather, and it feels absolutely amazing. It's so soft. Like, you wouldn't expect it from a pineapple at all.
No.
But it's just amazing.
And did you grow up in Brighton or?
No, I grew up in Guildford, so not too far away, just up inland a little bit, up in Surrey.
Yeah. I think because I grew up in Brighton, we had it's still there actually, the vegan shoe shop.
Yes.
On the street where my parents had a record shop. So when I went off and I was vegetarian from the age of 8 to university, I was really shocked that you couldn't get a veggie burger in a pub in Manchester. I was like, what is this? No veggie burgers? It's just
wow.
I was quite spoiled, I think, growing up down here. Now, veganism is quite a part of popular culture now. How can we ensure, which is great, but how can we ensure that the green revolution is for life, is for impact, and not just for the likes? I noticed on your photo shoot on your website that you've got a t-shirt saying, not for life, for life, not for likes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a friend of mine. She runs a clothing company who designed that. So it's a t-shirt that's very close to my heart.
Yeah. What's her company called?
It's called Viva La Vegan.
Ah, amazing.
Yeah, they do some great clothes. Mm-hmm. Very impactful messages.
Yeah.
And made from sustainable organic cotton as well, which is always a good option.
Yeah.
How can we ensure that the revolution is for life, not for likes? I think this applies to more than just veganism, to be honest. I think we have to be true to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to listen to what we really feel and what we really think. And we all need to get better at speaking our true voice and speaking our truths. For me, veganism is not a diet. Obviously it is a diet, but for me it's about the animals. Mm-hmm. Like you, I went veggie when I was 13 or 14. It all blurs a little bit now. Mm-hmm. So I've been veggie and vegan for a long time now, and for me, people say, oh, don't you miss this or don't you miss that? For me, nothing is worth the sacrifice of another life. Doesn't matter how good it tastes. And now there are so many amazing alternatives.
I've noticed with some of the very original veggie sausages, they're now saying established in 1994 or
yeah.
We were the originals, goddammit.
So yeah, I think being true to oneself is probably the most important. It kind of doesn't answer your question, because I think it's difficult. I think it's very easy for me to talk about what's right for me, but I can't talk about what's right for your listeners.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing. And I think the only other thing I would say is, we're only human. We can only do what we can do. Sometimes we make mistakes. I went to an aunt's house about 3 years ago. She offered me a biscuit. I didn't even think about it. I just took it, said thank you very much. Of course, they have milk in it. You know, we're human.
Yeah.
I
find, you know, with being vegetarian, you know, rather than kind of, I'm more pescatarian, actually. I do eat a bit of fish these days. But, you know, rather than kind of ramming that down people's throats, people just ask me, oh, so how long? And then I tell them the story of when I was 8 and I actually copied my sister. And then, you know, what I found was that I was, part of my story is actually with that. I couldn't understand that I couldn't eat ham when I was 8 at my grandma's, and my parents were both very supportive and said to me, you know, if you're vegetarian, you can't have ham. That is a pig. And I always describe that as the moment, because I was like, well, why are the grown-ups lying and calling it something that it's not?
Yeah.
And as a child, I think we're very intuitive with that. I kind of felt like they'd not been honest, not so much my parents, but just overall, you're calling ham when it's actually a pig. So that was it for me. I'm done. I'm not, you know, I didn't realize that was that animal. I hadn't put the 2 and 2 together. Now, I love your photo shoot with farm animals. Tell me more about that. And how did you get? It's almost like a selfie with a cow. I think when I was like some random teenager, I tried to get a picture of the cow and it ran away from me. I think that's why that resonated with me.
Well, those pictures were taken at a very special place in Sussex, near Heathfield, called Huglet's Animal Sanctuary, and it's a private sanctuary. They look after the animals. The animals come first. You can't pay to go in there. You know, they're closed 7 days a week. But I've been lucky enough to be friends with the owner. And I've managed to go down there myself a couple of times. They do have about 5 open days a year. It's one of the only places in the country where cows naturally create their own herd. So in a I don't know, I suppose in a beef farm or a dairy farm, cows are not allowed to have a herd where the farmer will actually be the head of the herd, and it creates this sort of unnatural balance. But at Huglet's, the cows are left to their own devices, and one head of herd dies. They as a group, as a collective, then, you know, decide who the next head of herd is going to be. And that sounds magical, and that's what Huglet's is. It's like a little slice of magic. You know, it's far away from anywhere. It's peaceful, it's quiet. All you can hear is the birds in the trees, the insects in the grass, and the cows, of course. And because all the cows they have been rescued from different farming industries, and they all have lovely stories, but because they're now in this safe place where they know they're totally safe. They're amazing. Like the amount of times I've spent a summer's afternoon cuddled up in the arms of a cow, you know. And I would never do that in the wild, but at Huglet's it's quite something.
It's amazing. I've never heard that before, that cows create their own herd and their own hierarchy and order of things. And no wonder when, you know, they're in farmers, you know, in fields and stuff, human beings are pretty scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we take that power. So greener beauty.
If you can get to Huglet's, I would definitely recommend it. I think it's somewhere that everyone should go. They do have a couple of pigs now. There are chickens that run around, lots of sheep, normally lots of lambs, which, let's be honest, are ridiculously cute. Always good for a cuddle. So I would highly recommend it. If you find them on Facebook, they normally announce their open days probably next month, actually. So it's just called Huglet's Wood Farm Animal Sanctuary.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I might try and take my nephew, actually. He's gone vegetarian this year. I'm super proud of him.
Amazing. Do it.
Yeah, I knew it would happen as well. I knew it would happen. So Greener Beauty has had a baby sister called greenersalons.com. Can you tell us more about your baby number 2?
Yeah, so they were actually born at the same time. They're kind of twins.
Oh, amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Greener Salons came because obviously I used to offer many years ago vegan friendly treatments. So I'm sorry about that. I used to offer vegan friendly treatments, from facials to massages, manicures, pedicures, that sort of thing. And I knew I had people coming to visit me for treatments, and they'd say, oh, I've never had a vegan facial before. And I'm like, wow, like there are places that offer vegan facials, but no one could find them. And I was like, it was actually at the same time when I had my breakdown, I was like, you know, everyone deserves a facial, right? Everyone deserves a massage. And everyone deserves to be able to do that without fear of using a product that contains animal ingredients or is tested on animals. And that's why I created Greener Salons, so people can go on there, they put in their postcode and they can find out what's local to them. So whether it's hairdressers or makeup artists or holistic therapists, or we even have tattooists on there. Obviously, some tattooists use animal-based inks, so that is another thing that can be made easier with Greener Salons. Spas, anything you want really in a treatment, any sort of skin or beauty treatment. And Greener Salons will be going through a makeover this year, and that's one of the plans for the year. Amazing. But it was
that could be one of the changes that somebody makes, right, that we're talking about.
Absolutely. And you know, everything makes an impact. I ridiculously, from a completely selfish point of view, like to think that every order that leaves here is saving an animal. I mean, I base this on no fact whatsoever. I just love the idea that everyone is saving a rabbit or a cat or a dog. But I mean, it could be that simple. You know, if you go to a spa that's using cruelty-free products as opposed to something that's tested on animals, that would have an impact over the course of a year or 2 years or even 5.
Yeah. It's about that ecosystem, isn't it? And usually when we're doing something, we're not just doing it once, we're doing it over and over again. We're buying another product, we're having another manicure or whatever it might be, we're eating another meal. So yeah, every little bit counts.
Absolutely. And I mean, even if someone decided, right, well, do you know what, this year I'm going to go and only use cruelty-free spas, and next year moved on to toothpaste, and the year after mascara, you know, they're big impacts that are small changes on a personal level, but over the course of time is huge.
Yeah, and I think all of us somewhere, certainly myself, I'm constantly making little changes and you know, being more aware and going, okay, what can I change now? But if we do it all at once, it can feel totally overwhelming. It's about, you know, because it takes that extra time and as well, and that's what your business meets as well, is because I think a lot of the system relies on us being short of time to think about things more consciously and to bring in, have that more greater awareness.
Definitely.
So how has the Natwest Accelerator supported you, and what are some of your compassionate intentions for the year ahead?
Wow, I have to say, so I'm now on my second round of the Natwest Accelerator program, and the business coach I've been assigned to is just amazing. Like, she's been so supportive. She's helped me to think and look at things in a different way, which I think as a business owner is so important, because we all get stuck looking at things from the same angle, right? And she's just sort of getting me to change my angle slightly, and then I'm seeing it in a completely different light, which is game changing. And I think I've had a business coach before, but the Natwest one has just been incredible, just supporting any decisions, helping me make the right decisions for the business. So yeah, I mean, I'd highly recommend it to anyone who was thinking about applying.
Yeah. And you know, it's so important, isn't it, that match of working with the right person in terms of, and running a business, you know, you can go round and round and round the same thing unless someone supports you to have a little change of perspective.
100%. Yeah.
So what are your plans for this year, and where can we find you?
So this year, obviously I mentioned earlier, we're going to be giving Greener Salons a bit of a makeover. So that will be coming later on this year. The plan is also to launch a subscription box, which is going to have multi-tiered levels, including a wellness/spiritual upgrade. I love the idea. As a very spiritual person myself, I love the idea of being able to incorporate that more into a beauty subscription box. So they're probably
make that process kind of sacred.
Absolutely. You know, and if that's the only time you can give yourself every week, is to give yourself like a really good Sunday, long bath, manicure, facial in the bath, face mask, whatever you want to do. That's, I mean, like you say, that is sacred time.
Yeah, and taking back your time.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So they're probably the biggest things that are coming. Obviously, we'll be doing our 3rd year of running an advent calendar, which will be out later this year. They're normally plastic free, minimal waste.
I saw those when I was doing research for your episode. I was like, I started shopping almost. I was like, come on, I'm supposed to be doing some work. But I was like, I've got to come back, because there are, you've definitely got a new customer through me, and I think many of our listeners as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Amazing, Vic. Thank you so much. And where can we find you? We'll put all your links in the show notes, but is there anything you want to share about social media, website, any of that stuff?
Yeah, so the website is greenerbeauty.com. If you wanted to find a vegan-friendly or cruelty-free treatment, it's greenersalons.com. And yeah, so we're on socials, Greener Beauty on Facebook, greener_beauty on Instagram, and yeah, Greener Beauty on Twitter as well, although we don't really use our Twitter, if I'm honest.
No, I don't really use it much these days either. So. No. But we might do the International Women's Day series.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll get sharing it on there, and please do follow us all on social media, comment on the episodes, etc. Vic, have an amazing day, and well done on the Greener Revolution. It's been amazing to speak to you.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to She Rebel Radio. It's been an honour to support you taking the time to discover more of your genius, and we thank our partners Natwest for supporting this series. Since the publication of the Rose Review, Natwest have been working to deliver real support for women to create their business of significance. From launching the Investing in Women Code to backing $1 billion of female entrepreneurship funding, Natwest are also educating young women through Dream Bigger, inspiring the future generations of female entrepreneurs. From their Business Builder online course to their flagship Accelerator program, Natwest can support you to upskill at your own pace in a way that allows you to stay in control as you start, scale, and succeed. Visit www.natwestbusinesshub.com for more. If you'd like to attend a retreat with me, visit lulumins.com, and don't forget to join us in furthering the conversation on social media. Just search for NatWest Business or Lulu Mins in Google and on all social media platforms.